Let's bring it to a very well-known company in real estate, WeWork. WeWork is the famous provider of co-working spaces, and they're back at it again after going bankrupt again. Look, in this situation, they use the bankruptcy law perfectly, in my opinion. It's allowing them to renegotiate certain leases, cancel other leases, and now they're saying it's allowing them to save $8 billion on future rent obligations. Look, this is what bankruptcy law is for, okay? You're a company that goes bankrupt. You could kind of put yourself on pause for a second, put yourself to the side of the playing field, reorganize yourself, reorganize your obligations, and then come back in the market as a new and improved company. It helps shareholders not just lose all their money all the time. I think it's pretty wild though for a company to go bankrupt like this many times. Like I searched up WeWork to, look this all up, and then it's like 4 years ago there's a movie on WeWork going bankrupt. I'm like, God damn, this company just keeps going bankrupt. So it's pretty wild stuff. What's your opinion on it?
Just 1 second. Remember, I'm the one.
Yeah, you were the one that, because of you, I had my first experience with WeWork, like, I don't know, probably 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember you and your business partner and our best friend, mutual best friend, John Durante, you guys had an event at a WeWork, and that's how I was introduced to it.
And then that's how we met actually our first guest, Steve Daniel.
Oh, yeah,
that's how we met Steve Daniel. So listen, my opinion is obviously the company's been bankrupt like 15 times. I'm not literally, but it's tough because is it something that people still want? I know, for example, when I moved downtown, and for us right now, a lot of our employees work remote. So it's really just for me to kind of get out of the house, have an office space. I don't need a large office space like you do. You know what I mean? You have a massive team of like 15 people, fucking 15 offices. Like it's nuts. For us, I just really need a place where I can go, big enough space, John and I, until we really start building the Montreal team. But to bring this back to WeWork, when I had gone to visit the WeWork Center, I shit you not, the size of this right here, okay, this right here was $4,500 per month for me to rent. And then I was like, well, what about the conference room? Like how does that, because they have a lot of stuff included. Well, you need to book at least like 5 days in advance. That's usually what she was telling me. So I'm like, this is super inconvenient. There's a lot of, the thing is that the pricing is so massive for the space that you get, but there's also a lot of other people that can just rent it out for the day and rent out the conference room. So it's like, the concept is great, but I think they need to do some restructuring or levels in terms of who gets priority in terms of pricing. Because I'm paying $4,500 per month for an office space the size of this studio, and then I have someone else that's paying $200 for just a chair that they can sit up anywhere, but he can always book the conference space, always before me. I don't know. I would be a little bit pissed. So to me, it's like, I like the concept of WeWork, but maybe in different regions it's less expensive. But generally speaking, WeWorks that I've seen are usually always in busy places. I don't think there's any in the West Island. No. It's really downtown. I think there's 2 still. There's one next to the Bell Center, and then there's another one. I forget where it is. It's like in the banking. I forget exactly where it is, but there's another one. There's 2 of them. So obviously, if you're downtown, you're paying a premium. But for me to be paying a premium and getting the size of this, I would rather much just go a little bit maybe outside or pay for a whole floor and not get the amenities and at least have it myself, right? So I think it's really expensive. I think it's a great initiative, but at the same time, a lot more people are staying at home. A lot more people that used to rent an office that were maybe 2 or 3 are remote. So in terms of a business play, what they did for the company and the shareholders, and they save $8 billion, kudos to them. I just don't know. I feel like they're trying to save a dying business, and they just don't want to give up because there's so much money into it that it's like, it's not going to be good.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I don't know if this is going to survive. I don't know if this is a viable business. I don't know if, in terms of how they price things and all that, like, could it be optimized to a point where it's actually something that people want more of? Mm-hmm. Potentially. I think, though, that the interesting thing about this that I want to, touch base on is that, so they were signing leases when rents of office space in the most desirable locations were at probably all-time highs, okay? And then COVID happens, everybody has work from home. And then we spoke about this on a couple podcasts ago even. Office values have been plummeting because they're sitting vacant. You know, some of them have, 50% vacancy, even more, let's say, and it's just hard for these office buildings to find tenants that want to occupy the space right now because their employees want to work from home. And so if you consider that, again, a supply and demand thing, there's less demand and there's a lot of supply of these office spaces now. And so for them to go bankrupt now and restructure all these leases, they're probably signing the best leases ever. They're probably signing leases of office prices that we were seeing, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. They are probably laughing all the way to the bank with these leases. And I was even reading up, they have clauses in the leases that give them an out. It caps their downside. So I'm assuming that gives them an out if they can't make X amount of revenue. I'm assuming it gives them an out if there's different events that take place in the market. Like, let's say COVID. I'm sure they would have loved to have an out if COVID happens. This is the time to negotiate those type of things in your leases. Because if I'm a owner of an office building and you're saying that I could get a tenant that's going to sign a lease for 10 years and otherwise I'm staying vacant and potentially going bankrupt or potentially having to give the keys back to the bank because I can't afford the mortgage on the office building, definitely signing whatever terms he's giving me as long as they still make sense for me. So right now, I think that what they did is genius. The timing was just perfect for them in terms of being able to renegotiate new leases at a time like this, when office is at the worst it's ever been in recent times. If they can't come back and turn this into a profitable company from here, I don't think they ever will.
No.
This is the best opportunity that they will ever have to become a real viable company in this space. So look, it's theirs to lose at this point.
It's theirs to lose. And I agree with you. Now, the one thing is they're now negotiating these great prices that they rented off the landlords. I think just out of personal experience of seeing what the prices are compared to other places, it's nuts. Absolutely nuts. Like for places that you can literally just rent downtown with no, let's say, conference room or amenities, free food, yada, 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 for like 5 times the size. If they don't at least bring down the pricings of their locations with these better terms that they've set forth, I don't think it's going to survive, personally. When we went, there were so many empty because why would you pay for $4,500 for literally an extra bedroom downtown when realistically, if you're a business owner right now and you don't have a big team, specifically, let's say it's up and coming, smaller businesses, I would rather spend $4,500 for a condo, which I know will have a lot more room and I'll be at home and I'll have like my WeWork setup. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They have to price it accordingly. If they're going after people with businesses that
smaller businesses
can't afford massive big offices and need like smaller flex spaces, then they have to have a dynamic approach to their pricing for sure.
Well, think of it. You know what I mean? Like if I would take that pricing, you know what kind, like $4,500 a month downtown Montreal, you're still getting you're getting a nice place. You know, it's like the prices are expensive. You're not getting a luxury penthouse with, your car driving up, but you can definitely negotiate. You're in a different ballpark now where you can negotiate for a beautiful place that you can rent. And literally you have let's say a 3-bedroom condo, beautiful amenities, nice setup for literally the size of a bedroom at WeWork with maybe just a view of the Bell Center that you see the logo.
Yeah,
which is
but
nuts.
but I would say like their target audience is a bit different, right? They want people there that are or they're attracting people that are probably taking clients and seeing clients and doing meetings and doing this.
Yes.
So it's like you don't want to bring them in your condo building. And
No,
they come
you don't,
up and
but you
see
can
your
rent
bed.
it for the day. And also, second of all, the thing that I don't know if it's every WeWork, but I've been to 2 of them. The ones literally glass windows in between the businesses, okay? So it's like if I'm working right here and I have a different client, and let's say I can literally be looking at this guy right there. There's no privacy. It's like, man, when
Yeah,
I went
that's
there,
weird.
and I'm just shitting on the one downtown. I've been to both of them. Just that one, it was ludicrous to me. I was like, no wonder everything's empty. There's no windows. Everything's glass. Like, it was, in my opinion, when I went there, I was like, I think like no wonder they're going bankrupt. This doesn't make any sense.
But I think the pricing model that would probably work for them, and maybe they're already doing this, I'm not 100% sure, but being like, let's say the BuzzFit of office space, like selling memberships, to people that probably won't even use the space that much,
Of course.
That's how gyms make money, right? They sell memberships, and a lot of their members never show up to the gym, and they price it accordingly to attract that audience of people that could afford to pay it, and they're not these crazy, like, they don't want to lease the space to like crazy entrepreneurs that are there 24/7, using all this stuff and drinking all the booze and having a bunch of people over. They want to lease it to the people that are like in and out of certain countries, and they want a space to work when they're in there, and they're barely in that country anyways. And the amount of times they visit the WeWorks wherever they are is not significant. Like, they probably want to be like the BuzzFit or the Planet Fitness of office space. That would probably be a lot better model. And maybe I would even pay if it was like $100 membership, let's just say, and I could go in there
per year?
Per month, and I could go and. Okay, no, I wouldn't do that because I'm always here in this office. But just to say, if I didn't have this office, I'd probably do that. If I could go grab a chair there, be around other people that are hustling, network and stuff.
I think it could be good. That's actually an interesting model that they could potentially do for, like, let's say students, instead of people in the library where...
Yeah, that's a good market too.
Where it's like the library, like, I understand if you want to go to the library, but for people that, maybe want to socialize a little bit more instead of being in like the cafes or being other places, and they don't want to be at home because how it is when you live with your parents, there's a lot going on at home. So if they did something like that, where it's like for students, hey, come study, and it would be a perfect setup,
yeah,
because
that's
who
really
cares
smart.
If they had 50 people in one room? But for a business owner that I'm on Zoom calls, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I still want my privacy and everything's glass, then no. But if they do it with free coffee and students $50, $80, it can't be too expensive because students are still on budget. But if you think about it, a lot of students go to cafes. Yeah, and they're still spending on Starbucks. If you include shitty coffee and you just put a thing on tap.
No, good coffee. If you include good coffee.
Good coffees are going to be a bonus, but we all know if, you know what I mean? Like, anyways, regardless, Starbucks, all these.
Oh, they'll get their own beans and it'll be pretty cheap if you just do it.
I think they should just change their demographic of target audience, because right now with COVID, particularly, this is, again, my opinion, that a lot of small business owners that work in an office space now can work at home. A lot of things are done through Zoom. I can't tell you the last time I've done an in-person meeting. It's been years. I tell them, like, dude, let's do a Zoom call. It's inefficient for me to, unless like I'm trying to save the client or something like that, you know what I mean? It's not going well, or, we have dinner. That's a different circumstance. But a lot of clients too now, it's like back in the day, you have to cut out 4 hours, let's just say, depending on traffic. Then you gotta, then you find parking, then you go there, then you have, before you get into the meeting, you start chatting. So what's supposed to be an hour meeting ends up being 4 hours. Then you got to go back to your office. And it just takes so long that with COVID kind of changing that everything can be done on Zoom, I can literally have in that 4 hours, like 5 meetings. I can just have back to back meetings, comfort in my home, and I'm chilling, rather than me being able to do only one meeting. So I think a lot of small business owners or business owners that own large companies have figured that out. Obviously, if you're trying to build a team, you're trying to build team chemistry, then that's different. WeWork will not be your target audience. So I think they just got to change it up with the pricing that they have and the structure. Just go WeWork. If you're listening to this, just do the student idea.
Hire us a CEO for $22 million.
Yeah, exactly. Hire us for $22 million, and I'll solve your crisis.
If you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to enter a chance to win an all-inclusive vacation for 2 people, click right here.